Have you ever been in a position where you really wanted a unit from the carousel, but it spawned on the opposite side? Before you were able to reach the unit, someone else stole it. This is a pretty annoying scenario that can definitely happen from time to time. There is a potential solution to this problem, which is to walk through the carousel. There is enough room to navigate in the space between two units to take a shortcut through the middle and reach the item faster. There are some players that are very skilled at this. They know exactly where the hitbox of each unit starts, so they use this mechanic every time they need to. This has never worked for me for two reasons. Number one, I don't have any hands, and number two, I'm a very lazy player. So when I am confronted with this type of a problem, I don't want to practice, I just want a convenient setup that does the job for me. Looking back at my League of Legends days, I figured I might be able to make use of an old warding trick. I used to be a support main, since I didn't have any hands back then either, and good ward placement was always an important topic to me. In League, you would end up memorizing specific pixels on the map to place tricky wards in specific brushes that you wouldn't reach otherwise. Armed with this knowledge, I started to look for a setup that I would be able to use every game. Initially, I tried a setup where I clicked on the left middle of the inner center, which sometimes worked, but it can be hard to find the correct spot. I found more success by clicking on the bottom of a tree stump on the opposite side. This one ended up working great, and I was consistently able to get to the middle when I had the first pick. Unfortunately, in set 9, the carousel is not symmetrical, so you wouldn't always spawn opposite to the tree that you wanted. Based on the region, the visual indicators can also change, and I'm definitely not interested in creating a setup for every single region. So I turned my attention to the interface. After all, the interface will never change. I tried around a bit until I finally found a reliable setup. By placing the tip of my cursor exactly on the bottom left corner below the stage indicator, my little legend would path in a way that gets him into the middle. Once I'm there, I just have to readjust my pathing and aim for the unit that I need. I was quite happy with what I had, but from time to time my setup still failed. After investigating the issue, I came to the sad conclusion that the units in the carousel aren't always at the same position. If we take two different carousels and overlap them on the frame when the barrier opens, you can see a noticeable difference. So at the end of the day, it looks like it's impossible to create a perfect setup. However, there are two more scenarios I would like to address: Tiny Titans and Metabolic Accelerator. I figured you might have the question if the setup still works if your little legend has increased size or movement speed. For Tiny Titans, you don't have to worry. While your legend looks larger, the actual hitbox doesn't change. Even in a full win streak with Tiny Titans, I was easily able to bypass the units and safely reach the middle. For Metabolic, the setup still works, but it's a little bit more tricky. I would recommend that you don't move your little legend at all when spawning into the carousel, so you have some distance to the barrier. Once you hear the audio cue of the barrier being lifted, you can click on any of the setups that I previously mentioned, and thanks to the extra distance, the setup will align again. While it's a bit disappointing that the setup is not 100% reliable, if you learn how to do it freehand style, you can still give yourself an advantage from time to time. I hope you learned something, and see you next time.